I am so proud to launch my 31st book, The Israel Warrior. Don't be so impressed at 31. Some have only sold 31 copies. But this book is very close to my heart because it teaches us how to be Israel warriors. The Jewish people prayed for a homeland for 2,000 years because we had been in Israel for 1,300 years and then we were expelled and we were dispersed throughout the world. Imagine a nation that still retains a connection to their ancient homeland for 2,000 years of expulsions, pogroms, inquisitions, and the Holocaust. And they still pray to return to this little sliver of land. And it's not that objectively it has the mountains like in Nepal, or objectively it has the beautiful beaches of the Caribbean. It's ours. It's our home. It's the land promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, and all their descendants. So we prayed to return, and then suddenly it happened through a miraculous series of events and the foresight and vision of great men like Theodor Herzl and David Ben-Gurion and Zev Jabotinsky and Menachem Begin. The Jews come back to Israel and they build an army to protect themselves, not to bring war to their adversaries, to protect human life, to protect Jewish lives, which had become so cheap. The IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, where my son serves very bravely right now, thank God. May God protect him and the soldiers. And then this little country that is the only democracy in the Middle East, upholds human rights, free press, free elections, freedom of religion, unheard of in the Middle East. Go try to be a Christian in Saudi Arabia. Is pummeled, Israel is pummeled, demonized, character assassinated every single day by enemies who tried to defeat it on the field of battle, but who were in turn defeated by the brave IDF. The Arabs have waged a 100-year war to destroy Israel, well before it was a state, when it was just chalutzim, pioneers coming to drain the swamps. Even then, they were attacking and trying to drive the Jews out, promising to drown them in the sea. And it didn't work, because Israel had miraculous and brave victories in 1948 in the War of Independence, 56, the Sinai Campaign, 67, the Six-Day War, 73, Yom Kippur War. Israel was almost destroyed and still turned back its enemies, but losing so many soldiers. First Lebanon War, Second Lebanon War, the Gaza Wars. They've tried so hard to annihilate the Jewish people on the field of battle, and through God's intervention and the bravery of the IDF, the Israeli people have turned back their enemies. So they decided instead, those who want to destroy Israel, that let's destroy its name. You see, if we destroy Israel's name and we can bring economic sanctions, we get it seen as a pariah nation. If we can ensure that Israel is hated by everybody else, then we'll slowly destroy it in the media. We'll destroy its ability to do business. And then we'll destroy its ability to deploy its army, to even defend it. And then we'll be able to walk in and push the Jews into the sea and annihilate the Jewish people, genocide of the Jewish people as promised by Iran and Hezbollah and Hamas and all these other enemies that surround the Jews. It begins with a PR offensive that they have launched very successfully. The BDS movement, the attempt to boycott Israel, divest from investments in Israel. This book that I've written, The Israel Warrior, Fighting Back for the Jewish State from Campus to Street Corner, is this valiant attempt to make you into an Israel warrior. And you don't have to be Jewish to be an Israel warrior. You have to just believe in human freedom. You have to believe in democracy. You have to believe in human rights. You have to believe that even in the tyrannical area that we call the Middle East, which only has dictators and women can't drive cars, and where women are murdered by their brothers and cousins for dating the wrong guy, and where gays are hanged from cranes in the streets of Tehran, you have to believe that even in that area, not just in San Francisco, and not just in New York City, and not just in Sydney, Australia, that we can have democracy and freedom. If you believe that, then you have to be an Israel warrior. Then you have to stand up for the Jewish state, which has become the great battleground, the global battleground today of the forces of terrorism who want to destroy it, the forces of tyranny who want to obliterate it, and the forces of freedom, and the forces of light, and people who believe in women's rights, and the rights of Jewish self-determination, and that the Jewish people deserve a homeland, and gay rights, and religious worship on the part of Muslims, Christians, Jews, all of which is practiced so openly in Israel. If you want to defend those virtues, if you want to dedicate your life to something higher, if you want to live for something beyond your career, your new car, whether you have a scratch on your iPhone, then read the Israel Warrior. Fight back for Israel on campus. Campus was never supposed to become a place that hates struggling democracies and defends tyrannies, like Hamas or the Palestinian Authority. Campus was supposed to be a place where students actually stood up for democracy and freedom. The fact that forces like the SJP, Students for Justice in Palestine, and other supporters of BDS have demonized Israel is actually a terrible sin against the rights of the Palestinian people. You see, Israel is not just the great Jewish homeland, it is the great Arab hope. If Israel succeeds as an open nation with democracy and human rights in the Middle East, where everyone says it can't happen, where these rights cannot flourish, then there'll be no excuse for Arab dictators to brutalize their people. They won't be able to tell President Obama or any other Western leader, don't preach to us about freedom and human rights. This isn't St. Louis. This isn't Los Angeles. This is Damascus. This is Cairo. It ain't gonna work here. Our response will be, really? It works in Jerusalem. It works in Tel Aviv. It works in Haifa. Why does it work among the Jews? It should also work among the Arabs. My Arab brothers and sisters deserve the same rights of my Jewish brothers and sisters in the Middle East. My Arab brothers and sisters in Syria and United Arab Emirates and Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Lebanon and Egypt deserve all the rights that Jews and Arab citizens of Israel. Because remember, 20% of Israelis are Arab citizens. They deserve all the rights that Israelis have. The Arab neighbors of Israel deserve all the rights that Israelis have. Be an Israel warrior. Don't just buy the book, which you of course ought to do. I am the author. After all, read the book, absorb the book, embrace its information, fight back for freedom, fight back for liberty, fight for the Jewish state of Israel.